Over the years, the MCU has managed to make some of Marvel's most obscure characters into household names. And with Phase 4 coming over the horizon, who knows what little-known characters might be brought into the limelight. These are the obscure Marvel characters we'd love to see in Phase 4. From the far reaches of the burning galaxy comes a protector of the Corbinites, Beta Ray Bill. Fighting against Surtur and the demons who destroy his home galaxy, Beta Ray Bill is turned into a powerful cyborg in order to lead the surviving members of his race to a new planet. Aboard his sentient ship, the Scuttlebutt, he is constantly pursued by these demons. When he reaches Earth, Bill mistakes Thor for a demon and they fight. To Thor's shock, Bill is able to pick up his hammer and use it.
Your weapon is mighty, demon, but now it belongs to Beta Ray Bill! Ah!
When Bill is accidentally recalled to Asgard by Odin, the Allfather is puzzled by what has transpired. It's eventually decided to give Bill his own hammer, Stormbreaker, which, as it happens, shares a name with the new weapon that Thor forges in Avengers Infinity War. Bill proves to be a steadfast ally of Thor, and even has a brief romance with Lady Sif. Given that Thor leaves Earth at the end of Avengers Endgame with the Guardians of the Galaxy, it would make sense to see him run into Bill somewhere in space. Moreover, Surtur was last seen wreaking havoc in Asgard, serving up the perfect opportunity to do a variation on Bill's origin story. Quasar is essentially Marvel's version of Green Lantern. He possesses cosmic-powered jewels that can create solid-like constructs. In terms of personality, the gentle Wendell Vaughn is the antithesis of swaggering, arrogant superheroes like Iron Man or Doctor Strange. He thinks before acting, and generally prefers not to fight if he can avoid it. That's the reason he is chosen as protector of the universe by the cosmic being known as Eon. He is given unlimited power, but he's unlikely to abuse it. Having him meet Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel 2 would be the best opportunity to introduce Quasar into the MCU. They could team up against one of the many weird foes he fought over the years, like the kinetic energy-absorbing Maelstrom, or Unbeing, a cosmic beast of primordial power. As a straight and narrow counterpart to Carol's loose cannon attitude, Quasar could be a buddy, a frenemy, or even a potential love interest. Alternatively, they could use Wendell's successor, Phyla-Vell, the daughter of Mar-Vell. That would be a nice touch on Captain Marvel's story, and Carol working with her mentor's daughter opens up all sorts of possibilities for drama. The Reverend Dr. Michael Achebe is described by his creator, Christopher Priest, as, quote, the Joker to the Black Panther's Batman. While the Panther is calm, collected, and compassionate, Achebe is an unpredictable, twisted lunatic genius interested only in power. Achebe is only too happy to kill thousands of innocents if it helps him get his way. He also talks non-stop and constantly insults Black Panther to his face, often referring to the superpowered king as Ukatana, which is Swahili for kitten. He literally sold his soul to the devil, or at least Mephisto, in order to gain his power, and he's obsessed with unseating T'Challa from his throne. Things get even weirder in later appearances, when he begins to wear a small puppet named on his arm, dressed exactly like he is. The situation in Wakanda is one of the biggest mysteries in Marvel's Phase 4. After T'Challa and Shuri both disappeared, who assumed power? What challenges does Wakanda face after the snap, given the fact that they had just opened themselves up to the world when T'Challa disappeared? Notably, Achebe gets himself into Wakanda in the comics by exploiting conflict, just the sort that might well have arisen after the snap. In the Black Panther comics, Malice is a disgraced former Dora Milaje named Nakia. Of course, in the film, Nakia is one of the heroes and T'Challa's love interest, but it would be easy enough to simply make Malice a different member of the Dora Milaje. And it would be worthwhile too, because Malice is a doozy of a character. Malice grows up infatuated with T'Challa, dreaming that she will one day be his queen. After Mephisto puts T'Challa under an illusion, he kisses Malice, and her fantasies grow out of control, no matter how much he apologizes once he is in his right mind. As she sees it, T'Challa is now hers, and she sets out to kill his girlfriend, Monica Lynn. Later, Killmonger helps Malice by giving her the deadly Jafaro herb. This poison makes her irresistible to men, and she sets out to kill every woman in T'Challa's life. A completely irrational foe is the perfect sort of foil to the collected and considerate Black Panther. And if nothing else, it'd be a pretty interesting turn for the next movie to take. Clea is the daughter of Umar the Unspeakable and niece of the dread entity known as Dormammu.
Your world is now my world, like all worlds.
In the comics, she betrays her relatives by helping Doctor Strange foil their evil plans to conquer his dimension. Clea eventually leaves her home and becomes Doc's magical disciple and lover. Given that Dr. Christine Palmer was a fairly uninspiring choice for a love interest in the first film, Clea could be a perfect addition to the cast in a future Strange movie. There are all sorts of ways Marvel could play this. Considering that the Time Stone no longer exists in this reality, what's keeping Strange's time loop spell in place on Dormammu? Can he invade again? Did Umar try to take over the Dark Dimension while Dormammu was caught in the loop? In addition, what happened in the reality where the Sorcerer Supreme was absent for 5 years? With all this in mind, Clea's introduction into the MCU seems to be just a matter of time. Deep in the Everglades lives a creature who is the guardian of the nexus of all realities. This is the Man-Thing, a muck-encrusted monster who was once a researcher named Ted Sallis. Working on regenerative and super soldier formulas with his colleague Dr. Kurt Connors, Ted was betrayed by his wife and chased down by AIM agents, who were hoping to get hold of his life's work. When he crashes into a swamp, he's transformed by the formula and the magic of the swamp into the fearsome Man-Thing. Man-Thing is an empath, but his brain is quite a bit foggier than it once was. When he feels the violent anger of others, he lashes out in an effort to make it stop. Given the fact that he can generate sulfuric acid, this means that people usually get hurt. This serves him well, however. As the guardians of the interdimensional doorway that lies in the swamp, when malicious entities attempt to cross over, he stands against them. Given that Doctor Strange is set to explore the multiverse of madness, why not send him down to Florida to do so? He and Man-Thing seem like they'd have a lot to talk about. Karkas and Ransak the Reject are sort of a package deal. Both are deviants, the genetically unstable foes of the Eternals. Specifically, they are mutates. Deviants whose mutations are so extreme that they are either killed or forced to engage in brutal gladiatorial games. In Karkas' case, he's over 8 feet tall, enormously strong, bright red, and has nasty claws. Even by deviant standards, he's ugly. But not quite as much as the dreaded Ransak the Reject. After a whole lot of build-up teasing just how horrifyingly ugly he is, the Reject turns out to look a lot like a pretty gorgeous human man. He and Karkas become fast friends in the gladiatorial pits, where Ransak becomes a fearsome killing machine. Karkas, while good at fighting, doesn't like it much. In fact, he's a sensitive soul who loves philosophy and culture. When Thena the Eternal visits their world of Lemuria, Karkas begs her to take them with her to the Eternals' home in Olympia. She does, and both become valuable members of Olympia. That's the sort of cinematic journey that could make an Eternals film or sequel truly special. Karkas and Ransak could be the bridge between the Eternal and Deviant worlds, in addition to having their own dramatic and affecting storyline. In the comics, Manai is Shang-Chi's adopted brother. He earns the nickname Midnight Sun because of his love of the darkness, evidenced by his all-black bodysuit. After Shang-Chi breaks away from the evil Fu Manchu, Midnight Sun is sent to kill his brother and best friend, a choice that brings him great sorrow. When Manai dies in battle against Shang-Chi, the Kree save his life by putting his brain inside a new clone body. This gives him the ability to endure the vacuum of space, turn invisible, and propel himself at great speeds. All of this is in addition to his tremendous martial arts skills, which he manages to retain. Midnight Sun would make an ideal assassin for the Mandarin in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. If Shang-Chi's life represents a path denied to M9, this could make their conflict more than just a standard hero-villain showdown. They're not just enemies, but brothers, and are able to hurt each other far worse than your typical good guy-bad guy matchup. The Mandarin is reported to be the main villain in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. As powerful as those 10 alien rings make him, however, he's always used lackeys to do his bidding. That includes Dr. Chen Lu, better known as the Radioactive Man. Unlike most similarly powered heroes, Dr. Lu's exposure to radiation was intentional. Then, in the employ of the Chinese government, he sought to make himself immune to nuclear attack, and ended up turning himself into a nuclear weapon. Lu has worked with a wide variety of villains over the years in his efforts to take down the Avengers. Eventually, however, he has a change of heart upon working with Crimson Dynamo and Titanium Man in Vietnam. There, as part of the Titanic 3, he seeks to inflict justice on wrongdoers, a change of heart that endures for years. It'd be great to see Lu either working for the Mandarin in Shang-Chi or acting as a free agent. His powers are formidable and his conscience is murky, the perfect recipe for an intriguing character. From out of the slave pits of the Shi'ar Empire come the swashbuckling Starjammers. On this team, you've got the giant green amphibian powerhouse Cha'ad, the deadly marksman Raza, the lightning-quick skunk woman Hepzibah, and the insectoid doctor Sikorsky. These ragtag misfits are led by their human leader, Quasar. Given that Captain Marvel is out patrolling space and Marvel is looking to bring the X-Men into the MCU fold at last, now would be a perfect time to introduce these X-Men adjacent characters. The Starjammers have long been a bright ray of sunshine in their frequently dour mutant dramas. Quasar, in fact, is Cyclops and Havoc's dad, kidnapped years prior by the Shi'ar. Their appearance could also herald the introduction of other alien races, like the Shi'ar themselves or the horrific Brood. The Starjammers are versatile, thrilling, and have a killer name, perfect for the silver screen. The Enigma Force is a strange essence from the microverse that randomly merges into random creatures in times of need, transforming them into Captain Universe. It bestows a uni-power upon its recipient, helps them solve the problem at hand, and then moves on as quickly as it came. Whoever becomes Captain Universe also gets a snappy blue and white costume, access to Univision, and control over matter and energy. First appearing by possessing a friend of the Micronauts to help defeat the evil Baron Quasar, the Uni-power has subsequently appeared in the Prime Marvel dimension many times. It's merged with heroes such as Daredevil, the Invisible Woman, and the Juggernaut, who used it to realign the Earth's tectonic plates. It also once merged with the Silver Surfer to stop an energy-devouring monster. There are all sorts of intriguing possibilities for Captain Universe in the MCU. It could possess Thor, or someone he meets in his next film. It could appear as part of Doctor Strange's multiverse explorations, especially since the microverse appeared as a quantum realm in the MCU. Captain Marvel could encounter it while patrolling space. Of course, the Enigma Force works best when someone completely unexpected is given the power, uses it, and then goes back to their life, making it the perfect opportunity to power up one of the MCU's unsuperpowered characters.
You know what they say, you're out of luck until you've gone duck.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.